Hi guys! I'm excited for our second day of our super newbie sewing series. I'm just quickly going to share this video, excuse me, and then we'll get started. I would love to have you check in and let me know where you're at, what's going on, how's it going? Hi Priscilla. I'm excited for today. Today, I wanted to show you I did get my new sewing machine. Good morning, Jennifer. Southern Oregon, so beautiful there. Oops, I hope that shared. Did that work? Yes, okay. So while hi Elaine, while I'm chatting, I want you to share this to your wall. I share, you share, right? No. Share this so anybody who in your life who might be new to sewing can find it. Go ahead and tag somebody you know who might be interested, however you want to do it. But today we're going to be talking about pre-cuts. I'm mostly talking about cotton. Hi Stacy. At the end of this month, Gina is going to chat about knits and those types of fabrics. So today, but for me and most of my sewing I do is with cotton. So we're talking about, good morning Connie, I was going to say Cotton and Connie. Good morning, Connie. So we're talking about mostly cotton and pre-cuts, and when you're brand new to sewing, my favorite thing is the pre-cuts. I really love the pre-cuts. That's what I started with. Hi, Rachel. Glad to see you here. Margaret, Lisa. So we're going to talk about pre-cuts, and I wanted to show you my new sewing machine that I just got, which I'm very excited about. Renee in New Mexico. Have you guys had any cold weather, or is it fairly warm still? We are freezing here in Illinois. So freezing. Freezing, freezing, freezing cold. Not loving it. But hi Jolene. Hi Randy. I'm doing well. So glad to see you guys. Oh, Janet, I bet you are cold. We're cold too. Hi Kim. So real quick, I'm done with my sharing. I'd love for you to share to your wall so anybody in your life who's new to sewing can find us here, because we're all month we're going to be working very back to basics, things you might already know if you've been sewing, maybe a few things you don't necessarily know, but I would love your tips. Throw your tips in there with me for all the newbies, because it can be so intimidating when you're new. So share this or tag a friend who's new, so that they can hop on too, or find it later. Either way. So what I want to do, oh yeah, warmer than usual. It is not warmer than usual here. So what we're going to do is I want to talk about pre-cuts and fabric. Like I said, I'm a big cotton person, and I make most things with cotton. I love my cotton, my quilting cotton. It's so soft and pretty. That's where they have so many pretty prints. So I've got all my little pre-cuts right here that I want to show you and talk about, and we will make a little project at the end. So, oh, it cut me off, but it came back. I'm here. So we will make, hi Sue, we will make a little project at the end. So if you're wanting to actually see some sewing, that's going to be more towards the end. I won't talk too much about the fabric, but I have put a blog post where I've written down everything that I'm going to tell you in the description, so you can find it. So I'm going to just back this up just a little bit and maybe down a bit so you can see. So one of the most common things, and if you shop at Joann or you know, Hobby Lobby, one of the few they don't have a ton of pre-cuts there from what I know. I don't shop at those stores a lot, but the one pre-cut that they do have is a fat quarter, which is this size, and you can get them in a bundle. So the first one I want to talk about is a fat quarter. They oftentimes come in a bundle with all of the colors or prints from the line, which is fun. It's a fun way to get a sampler of the whole line without having to buy a yard of each, which can be really expensive. So a fat quarter, and I should know it off the top of my head, but the dimensions. So it's about 18 by, let me tell you, it's 18 by 24. So that's what a fat quarter is. This is actually Art Gallery Fabrics. This is an older line. This is, I think it's, I have a mix of fabrics in here, actually, Heartland and something else. I just have random. So this is a fat quarter, and I have tons of actually projects using the fat quarter on my blog, but I love a fat quarter because you can get a ton out of the one. You can do several things with 1 or 2 fat quarters, and then you don't have a ton of leftover fabric, which is really nice. So this is a fat quarter. With the fat quarters, I don't typically pre-wash just because you tend to lose some. Hi Brenda. Oh, Burr, that's what we have too. It's around 14. So cold. You tend to lose some of your fabric when you pre-wash. So if you have anything less than a yard, I tend not to pre-wash. But if you are going to pre-wash your fat quarter, hi Deanna. If you are going to pre-wash your fat quarter, what I would do is take, not this raw edge, the raw edges. So these two, you can see they're kind of already fraying, and just baste, which is a really long stitch right along the edge, and then wash it, and that'll help save you from losing a ton of that fabric. So you could baste right there and then rip it out. Oh, is it 22? Thank you, Margaret. This one I have happens to be 24. It's a generous fat quarter. So you could baste right here, and that'll save you some fabric and keep you from losing it all if you want to pre-wash. I rarely, you guys, pre-wash, and it's not, I've never really had anything go awry. I've never had a project be ruined or a blanket or a quilt not work. So this is a fat quarter, and that's what this is. And they come in, like I said, you can get them in solids, you can get them in the patterns, you can get them the whole collection in a color story, and oftentimes it's cheaper to buy the bundle than buying, like I said, like a yard of each. You can get a bundle of every color or every pattern in that line for a fairly good price. So that's what a fat quarter is, and so you'll hear that, and that's the one of the few pre-cuts that you can actually find at the actual store. Like if you're not well, thanks for being here, Alicia. I got distracted. Hi, Elsa. Hi, Lucy. So, yes, this is one of the few pre-cuts that you can find at the actual store. They don't carry I think they've started a little bit to carry some of them, but for the most part, this is one of the most common pre-cut cuts of fabric if you're not buying it by the yard. So that's a fat quarter. So I'm just going to go kind of in the order that I did when I started sewing. The next thing that I became totally and completely obsessed with is a layer cake, which, and I started with Moda. This is from like one of the original layer cakes that I bought. So this is super old Moda line. If you have been sewing for a while, you might have seen it before. But this is just a layer cake, and it's 10 by 10. It's a 10 by 10 square, and I love that these pre-cuts especially, and the Moda ones, I really love that they've got the edge that's sheer, like pinked. I don't know what the term for that is. The pinking shears. They've cut it with the zigzag so that it doesn't fray nearly as much as your regular fabric. Why does it keeps showing me weird things? So it doesn't fray quite as much, which is really, really nice for making projects without doing any cutting. So like you may have seen, last month we made a cheater rag quilt, and I love using a layer cake for that because then you don't have to finish or cut anything at all, which is really nice. So this is a layer cake, and it also comes, you can see it comes in all, it typically comes in with 2 or 3 of each print in the color. In the story, the print in the line. Sorry, guys. I think it's allergies. It's just kicking my butt, so my brain isn't working so well. So that's what a layer cake is, and it's 10 inches squared. Okay. One that I don't have that is similar is, they call it a Jolly Bar. They have that, and you can get those on Fat Quarter Shop, and I think Moda. It's Moda that has a lot of them too, and that's just half the size, which is 5 by 10. So that would be fun for like a subway tile quilt, which I have on my a tutorial for on my blog. So it would be half of this. It would look like this. So that's what a Jolly Bar looks like. I don't have it, but that exists if you're looking for. Pre-cuts are a great way when you're just starting, so you know the fabric is the right size, because cutting can be stressful and overwhelming, and using a pre-cut takes out that bit, and you can just focus on sewing and keeping everything straight and not worrying about if your lines are straight or not from when you cut it. So here's another, this is a charm pack. Hi Janet, oh my gosh. This is a charm pack, and I like these because Moda sells them in solids, so you can get pretty much any color in a solid. I think other places sell them in the solids too. And then they also have them just like the layer cakes. This is a couple mixed up, but all the different colors in the color store. I need to like figure something out and say the same thing every time, right? In the pattern line, it comes with a few of each print. There, a few of each print in the line, the fabric line. Few of each print in the fabric line. That's what I'm gonna say. So, hi Janet. So this is a charm pack, and we're gonna use our charm pack today for our little project that we're gonna make in a little bit. And I love it because you can keep it around, grab a few, like I happen to need something. If you happen to need something orange, just grab a couple of the orange pieces from your charm pack and use them. You can use them all for one big project. I tend to break them up and scrap them out and put them in different things based on the color that I need, because I do a lot. I really like rainbow, so I do a lot with, colors. Oh my gosh, congratulations on your new grandson. Oh, yes, I need more coffee. My husband this morning took an extra big cup, so I didn't get my full 2 cups. That's probably it. You're probably right, Jennifer. I had about a cup and a half, so that extra half a cup really is changing my brain function. So this is a charm pack. These are charm packs, and I love them. They are, I didn't tell you the size. I think they're 5x5, right? Just making sure. Yep, 5x5. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing like I did with the fat quarter, so I'm going to measure. So a charm pack is 5x5. These are great also for half square triangles, which is just putting 2 together and then sewing. You sew on either side, and then you'll have 2 half square triangles and a half square triangle. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about a half square triangle. Or maybe we'll make one today. I don't know. I really like half square triangles. We could do half square triangle in the project I wanted to do. So this is what a half square triangle looks like. Random change, diversion from topic there. Okay. Then, I wanted to also mention, hi Tanya. This is a fat quarter bundle. They also have a fat eighth bundle, which a fat eighth is 9 by 21, 22, something like that. I think it's just half of so it would be 22. 9 by 22 is what a fat eighth is. So they have that as well. I don't happen to have one here on me. And then the 2 more things that I have that I want to talk about, they just started making, I don't know if they just started making, but I just started finding and seeing these mini charm packs, which, stop it, these are the cutest things ever. I can't even handle it. Like, I'm totally obsessed. So this is the Reef, the older Reef from Elizabeth Hartman for Robert Kaufman Fabrics. So cute with all the little sea stuff. But I love these little mini charm packs. So they're 2.5-inch squares. And like you might have seen, I did some little baby blocks with them. When did we do that? I don't know if it's been a while. So, but you can find those on my blog if you're interested. Little baby blocks with these. You get the mini charm pack and you can make like 10 fabric blocks, which are really cute and perfect for babies. I'm obsessed with these mini charm packs. But I think I've linked a few in the blog post that's in the description above. And you can just find them on Etsy. Just search mini charm pack fabric and it'll come up. So cute. And it's hit or miss. It's kind of hit or miss who has them. So a lot of the ones I got, I'll show you the other ones I have. A lot of the ones I got, I actually got them at Quilt Market. But I know I've seen them. You can buy them. So I have this one too, which is fun. Not totally my style, but I wasn't going to say no to free fabric. This is another Moda one. So, and it's just the same. It's just it's got the nice, these Moda ones especially have the nice finished edges. This Robert Kaufman one, they didn't have the nice finished edges, but I'm still going to use it. So, so anyways, and then this one's super cute too. These are older lines because Quilt Market was in spring. That's when I went. And so these are the lines that are released. Sorry. Should use my cough medicine. Okay. So that's a mini charm pack. I think this is my favorite right now because it's so cute. But it's a really tiny work. So maybe not great for just starting out unless you feel super confident and are okay with using your seam ripper, which would be great and is fine. And I love if you have that kind of confidence, because that's totally my style. Just go for it and rip it out if it doesn't work. That's what I always do. Then the last one I have that I want to talk about is a jelly roll, which is fun. And I just really, maybe I'm just obsessed with all the cute terms like that they have for these because they're super fun. But this is a jelly roll, which is just a long strip. And so they're 2.5 inch strips, and I think they're with the fabric, so they're about, am I right? I think they're about 44. Let's pull one out and check. And it just comes in this big roll. And I took apart the pretty roll. Let me just make sure. Yeah, so they're about 44 inches, which is just with the fabric. So the standard, now I've got this stuff all over me. So the standard fabric is about 44 inches wide. And then, so if you're going to get fabric cut, that's what you need to check. And most bolts have it on there, but 44, I mean, it's in the 40s. It ranges, I think. I don't know why it ranges so much, but your grandson still isn't here? Oh my gosh, I thought it was going to be a Christmas baby, Tanya. I really did. I was thinking about you the other day. I wonder if she had her grandbaby yet. So if you're going to get fabric cut, this is 2.5. So the standard is about, I would say it ranges from like 42 to 45-ish. It's not super standardized. Hover the top of the jelly roll before opening. Oh, hoover, yeah. Like vacuum it, because, yeah. Woo, look at all that. It's snowing. You can, yeah, it has some shedding. That's a great tip, Elaine. Thank you. But these are really fun, and they don't come in just solids. I have this one for sashing and binding of quilts and things, but you can also get it just like these with, let me think of it, every pattern in the line, right? Oh my gosh. So you can get them in all the colors just like this. So they come like that as well. But this just happens to be a solid because I like to have my solids on hand, have extra solids. So, and then it's a 2.5 inch. It's also finished on the edges. These Moda ones anyways. I can't speak to if other brands carry them or if they're finished, but I really like the Moda ones. Just Moda is so soft, you guys. I love it. So, and then it opens up to really, really wide. Whoa. So, it's great for, like I said, sashing and adding borders to things. If it isn't quite the size you want it to be, throw one of these on either side. Yeah. So that's a jelly roll. And then one other thing that they have that I don't actually have, I've never worked with, they have a pre-cut that's a hexagon, which is really fun and really nice if you want to do, I'm like covered in stuff now. Really nice if you want to do like a hexagon project. And I can't say, I'm not positive if they're, but they call them honeycomb. It's called a honeycomb. If you're looking for it, if you're looking on Etsy for a honeycomb, it's a pre-cut. I've linked it in the blog post as well. So those are all the different things, the pre-cuts that I know of anyways, and have used, besides the honeycomb. I've not used that one. Yes, this is an off-white. Let me see if it has a color. Usually has a color. The color is just these numbers. I did order it online. You can get it on Etsy. Etsy has lots of great fabric shops. I also have, maybe I'll link for you some of my favorite fabric shops on Etsy. I've got a blog post about that. There's some really great places, and you can find just about anything, which is really nice. So yes, this is just a solid. It is an off-white. It's like see, this is white. And so it's kind of a cream ivory color. The Moda ruler is white, so you can see kind of the difference. It's hard because it's really bright in this room, so trying to cover up all the light so you can see. But that's, good morning, Linda. That's the jelly roll. So I thought we would make a quick project. And I did get my new sewing machine, but I have not had a chance to open it up and read the manual, which I've got right here. I've got my manual, and I'm going to read it before we sew with it here on the video. So let's make our project, and then if you want, I will take it out of my new machine out of the box, which I haven't even done, and show you guys. But I want to do a quick project with you guys, and then I'll show you my machine. Let me find. I should have gotten my stuff together, and I didn't as well as I would normally have. Okay. So I've got some scraps here of, this is Heat and Bond. Not Heat and Bond, it's fusible fleece. Heat and Bond fusible fleece, that is what it is. So this is just a scrap of it, but I will give you a link to it once we're done here. And then I'm going to use my charm pack, and we're just going to make some quick and easy coasters for fun. Hi, Marina. And maybe we'll throw in a half square triangle one, because I really like half square triangles. And yeah, so I'm just going to grab, so what you'll need is just these charm pack squares. So I'm going to take 2 charm pack squares. Oh, yay, Tanya, that sounds like it was a great, you made out. You got some good stuff. So let's make a half square triangle. Let's do half square triangle coasters. Does that sound good? No? Somebody that makes them angry? Okay. So, what we're going to do, I'm just going to pick 2. Well, I'll make 2. I'll do these 2 and these 2 different ones for fun. So I'm going to use 4 charm pack squares. Let me move you down a bit, and let me just move all of the rest of my fabric so it's not distracting and in the way. So what we'll need is we're going to need our ruler. We're going to need a pen or a pencil is fine. Just for one coaster, we're going to need 2 squares, charm pack squares, and just some scraps of, you can use any sort of batting, but mine's fusible fleece. And I'm probably not even going to fuse it in. I'm just going to sew it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put my 2 squares together. I'm going to do it for both. Charm pack squares is, it's a 5 by 5 inch pre-cut square. So we've just been talking about this. You can buy it you can buy pre-cuts, and a charm pack is 5 by 5 inches, and it's got this finished edge all around it. And it comes in solids or in prints. You can find it. You can find them on Etsy or at your quilt shop. The quilt shop will probably have them. So I've got my 2. I'm gonna make 2. I'm just gonna take my ruler, and I'm gonna line it up from corner to corner, point to point here. So and I'm gonna draw a line directly down the middle. And I'm just gonna do one as a half square triangle. I'll do the other one just normal to show you how to do it, so we don't. So if this feels too much, since it's your first time. So you can pin. Now would be a good time to pin or clip. Clip your pieces together. You don't need too many. They'll pretty much, no problem, Melanie. For these, I wouldn't worry too much about the direction of the grain, because it just doesn't matter. But if you're worried about, if you're wanting a half square triangle to look a specific way, like this, I'll show you. Like if we were going to, because this one has the TVs on it. So once it's finished, I'll show you. Once it's sewn, if we didn't look at the grain, you can see the TV is kind of right ways up, but my pears are crooked. So you would want to pay attention to the grain and maybe make sure that when it's finished, it looked like this instead so that the pears were the right way. So it depends on the print. This one is just floral that we're doing, so I don't care. So it's easier that way. If you're doing, it's probably easier to use something without a grain for now. If you're just starting, but if you are worried about, if you have a print that you're worried about, this is how we check my non-scientific way. So line your two pieces up, put a pin in where you plan to sew on this line. You could do it on this line that we just drew. And then I'm going to show you how you would check. So we've put our pin in. This is where we're going to sew. Now it's easy to, now you'll know that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. You fold it over and this is what it's going to be finished. So the grain of the fabric is just if the pattern is the right way or not. So this is not correct. This is correct. Okay? So that's how you can test. Just put pins where the line is that you've drawn. So see how we drew this line? You would put a pin there and then fold it over to see what your finished product is going to look like. So we know this is what it's going to look like finished. So we're happy with that. I'm just going to do a regular poster with this one. So if you are super new and you're just watching, on Wednesday we talked all about the machine, threading it and doing the bobbin and getting it all set up and ready. So go watch that one first if you are just brand new and aren't sure how this works. But if you did watch that one, we're going to I'm going to sew 1/4 of an inch on either side of these lines. So 2 lines, one on either, 1/4 of an inch on either. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the edge of my foot here and line it up with the line that I've drawn. Don't sew on the line, you're sewing 1/4 inch away from the line. Does that make sense? My machine's not on. There we go. And you can back stitch just a bit to keep it in place. And the real key to this is that you make this second line the same distance away as the first line so that both of these are the same size. So I'm just turning it around and I'm going to sew on the other side of the line. Like that. There we go. Back stitch. Okay, let me get my scissors. Then we're going to grab our scissors, and I didn't heat up my iron because I wasn't planning on doing these half square triangles. So you can see we've sewn on either side. Can you see? Let's see. Maybe you can see. It doesn't want to show you. I used white and it's like really not. There we go. You can see I've sewn on either side of that line. So there's two lines now that we've got. And I'm just going to cut. Now I'm going to cut directly with my scissors on this drawn line. Okay, so this is what it will look like once we've cut there. My new machine is a Brother CS6000i. It's also a very brand new beginner machine. I can show you after we're done with this. So then when you open it up, this is what you've got. It'll look just like this. And they should look pretty much the same. Let me just trim up my threads here. Whoop. Okay. Hi, Andy. So this is what we've got. We've got two. Now we've got two that look just like this. Okay. So I didn't get, like I said, I didn't get my iron out. I wasn't planning on doing this today. So I want you to take your iron out and press it. You can press the seam to the side. It doesn't have to be open. Some people are particular about opening their seams. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't matter to me. I don't think it matters. I just press it to the side So you'll press the seam to the side like that, turn it over, and just give the front just a press. Now when you're pressing, you just want to go straight down. You don't want to rub at all, just straight down onto the fabric, just like this, and hold, okay? So that's what I want you to do. I didn't set up my ironing board or my iron, so it's not ready to go, but do as I say for this time. This one time, because I wasn't planning on making the half square triangles, but you know, I had a whim. So you'll have these two. And this is nice because we still have all the nice finished edges. And you're going to press them, right? You pressed them, like I said. You can pause it and press. Then, to finish, so for this one, we don't need it like this. Oh, good, Jessica. I'm excited to get it out and play with it. I don't need anything super fancy, but I was surprised by how much. It was a really good price. I was really excited. So then, put this aside. We're going to finish them both the same way. So now we've got, this is fusible. So if you want, when you're pressing, you can iron this on to your fabric. But I'm going to show you. I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch around the whole thing because I don't really want this to hang out. I just want it to add some stability. So I'm going to straighten this up. Okay, this is a scrap, so I'm just straightening it up. So now we've got, that's mostly, you just need one piece. We're making coasters, fabric coasters. So I've made it so that it's about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's fine. And then we're going to put our top piece over. And now's a good time for pins, just because the clips won't necessarily hold in, the clips won't necessarily hold in the fleece. So I don't typically pre-wash, especially my pre-cuts, these little ones, because they would just lose too much. It shouldn't shrink too much. It might shrink a bit, but it should be fine, especially because it's the same. They're both the same fabric. They're going to shrink about the same way. So I'm just going to pin it in place like that. And remember, we've got our fleece right in the middle, which you could have pressed in if you wanted. It doesn't, and not necessary. I'm going to just cut one more piece of this, and this one's going to be smaller because we've done some sewing to it. So many people are having a baby. So I'm going to just cut another piece right here for this one. Make sure it's straight. Okay, and then the last bit for this one is we've got these little guys right here. I'm just going to snip it off, kind of behind, like that, just like that. So you see I've just snipped that little bit on the corner off, just that the raw corner, right? This here, just snip it off. Okay, so that's what it will look like in the back. We've just snipped that little bit so that it doesn't hang out. No, I'm not. No, I'm not having a baby. No, I'm done with babies. I'm good. My husband would curl up into a ball, I think, if we were having a baby. I'm just snipping these on this as well. Now you can line them up. So you can line them up so that the diagonal goes the same way, or you can line them up so that the diagonal is a different way. I'm going to do them opposite. So what I mean is they'll look a different way, like that. And then I'm just going to clip this one in place too, or pin. The clips, I think, will kind of squish it up and get in the way of our seam. So I'm just pinning towards the middle. Okay, so that one's clipped in place. pinned. I always say clip or pin. I say the wrong thing no matter what I'm doing. So next, all I'm going to do is I'm going to use a zigzag stitch and go around the edges, and that hopefully that zigzag catches the edge of our fleece, and it gets fairly close to the edge of our fabric. This one is nice because it's got the it's already got, make sure that if you're doing this that your pre-cut has the sheared edges, so that it won't fray and be weird. So I'm just gonna, if you remember, for me, a zigzag is number 3, so I'm going to turn my stitch selector to 3, and then I'm going to do a zigzag all the way around. So I like to start the machine with my hand, and then do a little back stitch too. Then just go all the way around, so all the way down one side. And then when you get to the edge, you can, I want to make sure it stops like that. Pick it up, just lift your presser foot, and then turn. Turn your machine. And then you're ready to go. And you don't have to sew fast. It's fine. Whatever your speed is just great. Pick it up and turn. Keep going. Okay. And last bit, just down the last edge. You could do a straight stitch too if you're wondering. A straight stitch would be fine. I just like to do the zigzag to try and catch the fleece as much as I can. And I feel like it's a little bit more decorative than a straight stitch. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the project. So I feel like it's just a little more decorative to do the zigzag stitch. So let's find a blue piece. So this is what it'll look like. You've got the zigzag along the edges, and it kind of mirrors the sheared edge as well. And then if you've done your back stitch, you're fine to just snip off these bits and pull your pins out like so. And there's one little stitch, one little coaster. You could do iron-on vinyl and like customize them. Maybe not so much with the triangle, the half square triangle, but you could definitely do it with this one. So for this, it's exactly the same. I'm going to do it a little bit faster just so you don't have to sit and watch the whole time. And then, like, these would be super cute to do a little fruit iron-on right here on the top. Andy, this month we're focusing on, like, basics. I'm calling it my Super Newbie series, but I could call it Back to Basics. Just super introductory type things. You could put a little binding on it, too. That's, I mean, more advanced, obviously, and these edges I'm just fine with. I love the sheared edge. These ones are cute, little TV. This would be cute in your little coffee table in your TV room. So this one I finger pressed too well, apparently. That diagonal won't go away now. So you can press them again once you're done sewing. That would be fine. So these are super, very, I won't say simple. These are great for newbies, good for practicing your zigzag stitch. And on Monday, actually, I'm going to have a printable for you to practice different stitches, sewing straight and sewing circles and things like that. So on Monday, I'll have a printable for you to practice if you're really wanting to practice on your sewing and stitching. And it would also be great for the kids. So I'm going to try and do something that's fun for kids, that's maybe like a picture or something. I haven't designed it yet. I'm still mulling it. It takes me a few days to mull over, but I want to give you a printable to practice stitching and for kids, so you could print it on paper or cardstock. I mean cardstock, not just printer paper, because that would not go well on the machine. You could print it on cardstock and then just practice sewing on it. So yeah. So here's the two that we made today. This is our half square triangle. If you're wanting to quilt eventually, this is a half square triangle is what you're going to be making for a lot of quilts. I love them, actually. They're really fun. So that's those two. So those are the two projects. Those are the two, and I'll give you the link for this if you're interested. This is just Heat and Bond fusible fleece. So I thought I would just show you my new machine, which I'm excited about. It's nothing fancy. It's just new to me. So make sure you tag a friend who might want to learn how to make those coasters or is brand new to sewing, so that they can find it. Let me pull this machine over here. Okay. So someone had commented, I've never seen a sewing machine without a presser foot, but I mean a pedal, which it does have. So I don't know. It's not super exciting machine. It's just a new brother. Their super basic model. So here's my foot, my pedal, I guess is the term. And I guess it came with all the optional accessories. So that's kind of exciting, because it's got a walking foot, which I didn't think it was going to come with. It has a walking foot and the quilting foot. It's got a seam ripper, and it's got the for the second spool, the holder, a little cleaner, and the quilt guide, and a seam ripper. Has anyone in the history of ever been able to use a seam ripper like this? How do you even get in there? This is the tiniest little, like, is this a seam ripper for mice? I don't know. It's too small for me. Good morning, Catherine. I have to have a big, you've seen mine, like it's got a big old handle. I've got to really get in there. I guess I do a lot more heavy duty seam ripping than some other people. I don't know. I need a, can't do that tiny thing. So it's got a hard case, which is nice. I'm not sure I'll ever use it because I use it every day, my machine, so I don't know that I'll ever put the case on. But it's nice for maybe having for when we move and stuff. I've got plenty of nice seam rippers. I just think it's funny that they put that one in there. That alone would cause people to stop sewing if that's how you thought you had to seam rip, right? You have a tiny one, Jennifer, like that? Or does it have the handle? So then here's the machine itself. I literally haven't pulled it out yet, so this is my first go. You guys are getting to see it live. Yeah, the cap goes on, but man, like it's still not, that's still not sturdy enough for me, because the one I have is like, where is my seam ripper? I don't see it off the top of my head. Oh, here it is. The one I have is like, it's got a handle. Like I can hold on. See the difference for me? Like I'm a pretty intense ripper though. So this is like, so that's the difference. I think if you like it, it's great. I'm not, I don't mean to be negative about it. It's fine. But I like a heavier seam ripper. Okay. Oh, that's probably true, Melanie. I wasn't thinking about that because I don't actually do a lot of buttonholes. So, is that everything? So let's see. I can get this tape off. There we go. I'll show you the other things that it comes with. So it looks just like my machine that I have now. All of this. It's a top, the bobbin drops in the top, which is nice and easy to see. And then, oh, yep. Oh, look, it has a nice little, my baggie that it came with before was just the plastic. Or maybe it came with one of these and I was still just using this plastic bag. But it has a fancy little baggie with a buttonhole. Oh, look at this. Fancy. It said in the, I read what that was. I should probably know, but I don't off the top of my head. See, I'm always on in here checking stuff out. It is an eyelet punch, so that's cool that it came with that. That's kind of fancy, right? Can't say I've ever used one of those. And all the different feet, which is nice. Some extra bobbins, a zipper foot. You know I'll be using that one. So many different feet, which I don't even necessarily know what they are because I've never used all these crazy feet. I usually just use my 2 different feet. So, oh, look at this one. What's that in the middle? I'm gonna have to do some research. I think it's for adding eyelets. I don't know, I have to look it up. But look at this one's got this little like metal piece in the middle. So I'm gonna have to look that up. Let's see, it says what they are in here, but I've never used one. Is this a blind stitch foot? I don't know. Small hem roller. You guys, I just am opening it. I've never even looked at these things, so I'm showing my inexperience with zipper foots with feet right now because all I ever use is the same, my 1/4 inch foot and my zipper foot and my walking foot and my quilting foot. This is a stitch in the ditch foot. That's awesome. I'm glad you're excited for me. I'm excited for me. This one is different too. It's got the, I don't know what this one is. I'm just going to let you guys tell me because you guys know more about the feet than I do. I only ever used a couple different feet. So, and then we got this guy, which I had in my other machine too, and I never ever used. So, and it's got the needles for sewing with 2 needles if you're wanting to do that. Some extra needles. Organ needles for sewing, knitting, and felting. I don't know. It came with all these needles. I think I have in it. It came with some extra bobbins, which, let's see, I wonder if they're the same bobbins as my, where are my other, here they are. If it's the same bobbins as my other machine, that would be fantastic. Oh, I think it is. That way I can still use all these ones that I've already got. That's exciting. That's nice to know, right? Okay. So anyways, I'm going to read over the manual and look everything over. And then I will be ready to use it on Monday for our Monday show, which, what did I say we were doing? I said we were doing, I already forgot, you guys. Seriously, like mom brain is killing me. Oh my gosh, the printable for the straight stitches. That's what we're doing on Monday, is we're going to practice sewing straight and stitching straight. I'll show you the machine just one second. And so that's the plan for Monday. I will show you the machine. Let me see. And I also, then next week, if you're curious about what else we're going to talk about next week we're going to do cutting. So cutting the fabric, the best way to cut the fabric. Can you see the machine now? So this is the Brother, does it have the model on here? Yeah, right here, the CS, can you see it? 6000i computer, it says. So that's the machine. It's got all these. It's got the digital display, which I did not have before. It's got the start, stop. It's got reverse. This is how you turn it around. It's got the speed control, which I really like. So if you have kiddos, like I've been telling you, this is great because it won't go faster than a certain speed if you, depending on where you have this button. So they can go very slow and not worry about the pressure of their foot on the pedal. Because, you know, kids, that can be a hard thing, like getting the right pressure to go the right speed. So I really like that it slows down, that it goes slow so the kiddos can go nice and slow. And me. Sometimes I get carried away. So that's a really great feature, why I like it for new, not just kids, any beginner, because that's a really hard, it's like learning to drive if you learn to drive a stick. Like getting that right, you know, the clutch in, the clutch out, the gas in, like that's hard. So it's definitely a feel you have to get used to. So I like that this has this, the speed control. And it, like I said, it beeps at you. It tells you, if this isn't down, it tells you if this isn't down, so you don't sew with it down, which is nice. And then, yeah, it's got the buttonhole, everything in it. It's got the thread cutter like like most machines have. And then it's got the automatic threader here too, which I probably will never use, but I know some people enjoy that. But I tend to just do my own thing and thread it on my own. So the only thing that's really different is this up top. I've never had one of these on here, which is kind of nice. It seems like it would be great for making sure the bobbin is wound correctly. Yeah, Sonia, the reason I chose this machine is because my machine is just super old, and it's actually like way pricier than this. It was like double the cost of this machine. I like to do, and because my focus is always making sure beginners can do what I do, I wanted to get the machine that I recommend to people, because I've used it before, but I just didn't have it. So I didn't want you to think I'm recommending this one to you that I don't have. And this, I like this for beginners, and I want to be able to do all my tutorials with the machine that I'm recommending to people. So I recommend it for all the reasons I just said: the speed, the stop start, the beep when you put this down. So those are the reasons I recommend it, and that's the reason I got it, because I wanted to have what I recommend you have if you're brand new starting out. And I don't want to have anything super, you shouldn't have to have a crazy machine to sew. You shouldn't have to have a crazy machine to make nice projects or to even quilt or make blankets. So, and everything I've ever made is on my super basic machine. And this one it's not more basic because it has a few more things, but it's even cheaper than the one that I have now. So that's why I picked this machine, and I just really like my brother. My old brother has lasted me 11 years, and I really like the quality. So that is why I picked this machine. Thank you for asking, Sonia. So yeah, I think your industrial machine will be great, Andy. I just don't really have a need for it, I guess. Everything I've ever wanted to make, I've been able to make on my, entry-level brother machine. So I'm happy with it. So that's everything. And oh, I think it also came with like the tray for quilting, like the big thing that comes out. Let me see. I probably won't ever use this either, but just in case you're interested to see everything that it comes with this guy, which is just like the table that goes, I have to get it set up. It goes over here somehow. There we go. So it goes on so that it has a little more space if you're wanting a flat surface, if you don't have a table that the machine sets into. So it came with that table as well, which I probably won't ever use. But it's there if you need it. And if you're wanting this machine, now you know what it comes with. So that's everything that I got with my machine. And yeah, I think that's it. Yep, it's got the tray. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. You know I'm always on here. I'll answer all your questions even after the video is done. So today we talked about pre-cuts. We made, which I already lost them. Where'd they go? We made our coasters. Oh, here they are. Oh, we made our coasters today. So worked on a little bit of a zigzag stitch and a half square triangle, which is fun. And you saw my new machine. So that's everything for me, guys. And then on Monday, I hope you guys have a great weekend. And on Monday, we'll work on stitching straight, doing curves and stuff. I'll get you that. We'll have the printable so you can print it out and practice your different stitching. And it's great for the kids, so the kids can practice too. So I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.